Hello and good morning everyone. This is Parveen. Today we are on the second session of class 10, Geography, chapter 2, Forest and Wildlife Resources. In our last video or in our first session we have seen that how forest and wildlife resources are very important for the biodiversity or for the ecological system in the world, because all the living beings who live in biodiversity or who lives in ecological system, they depend upon each other. Like animals depends upon plants, many plants are there who depends upon human beings and on the atmosphere or on the air. Human beings are there who depends upon the animals and plants. So forest resources and wildlife resources are very important part of biodiversity. And in our last session we have also seen that there are different kinds of species in when we talk about the wildlife resources or when we talk about the forest resources. That means we are having a different kinds of species of plants and animals which we have in forest, and from those animals and plants or from those species of animals and plants, there are many animals and plants which are endangered, or you can say that which we cannot find in future. They can be get extincted because of the overuse of them or because of the depletion of the forest resources. So now in this particular session we are going to learn about the factors that causes depletion of flora and fauna. There are certain negative factors which affects the flora and fauna of a different flora and fauna in the world, or especially if we talk about India. Flora and fauna means plants and animals which we found in forest, resources. How these forest resources get depleted and what are the factors which cause the depletion of these forest resources. Now we will see that. Okay. First one is overuse of wildlife and forest resources. As we have seen that human beings, they are overusing the forest resources and wildlife which we have in forest. In forest we can see that many plants are there which can be used for the medical purposes, and many animals are there and those animals are also can be used for the various purposes, for the commercial purposes. That is why what human beings are doing, they are overusing the forest resources and wildlife resources, because of which they are getting depleted. This was the first reason. Second one is expansion of railways. See, now when we talk about overuse of wildlife and forest resources, now how human beings are using wild resources or using forest resources in such a way, directly or indirectly, that those resources are getting depleted. Now what are the reasons behind that? See, because of the expansion of railways, agricultural activities, commercial and scientific forestry and mining. Now when we talk about these different activities, now when we talk about the railways, when you wanted to make a railway tracks, many times it happens there are forests, we are cutting down the forest to make those railway tracks, to make the way for the railways. Secondly, we can say that commercial, many agricultural activities are there. As population is increasing, and to meet the need of the population, we required a higher level of production of food grains, and we don't have so much land to produce food grains in such a way or in a higher way. So to expand the or to increase the production of food grains, what we are doing, we are cutting down the forest to do agriculture on those forest land, because of which there is a deforestation, and that deforestation is a reason because of which we are having a depletion of flora and fauna, because forests are the home for the flora and fauna. Forests are the home for the wild plants and wild animals. It is a kind of shelter for them, and because of these different kinds of activities, we are cutting down the forest. That means there is a deforestation. And commercial activities are also there, because of which we are cutting down the plants in forest. We are hunting the animals to meet those commercial needs. Like when we talk about the leather bags, those leather bags or those leather shoes or leather jackets which we are using, many times it happens huntings are there, and we are using the animal skin to make those leather bags and leather shoes and all these things, which has a commercial purposes. So because of which we are cutting down the plants, and we are also harming the wild animals which we have in forest. And scientific forestries are also there. That means many scientific experiments have been done in forest or on animals and on plants, because of which those animals and plants are getting depleted or they are getting hurt. And mining activities are also conducted in the forest, which affects the forest system, or which affects the wildlife and plants which we have in forest. So these are the different activities through which we are depleting the forest resources, or because of the deforestation we are hurting, or we are having a negative effect on the forest resources or forest environment. Now third one is between 1951 to 1980. Now when we see the estimation, we can see that between 1951 to 1980, 26,200 square kilometer of forest was converted into agricultural land due to increasing population or to meet the food needs of the population. What we are doing, we are converting the forest into an agricultural fields, and when we are doing so, we are cutting down the plants, and when we are cutting down the plants, wild animals who lives in those forests, they also get homeless, and because of which these animals or these wild animals are also getting hurt, or maybe they are getting extincted because of that. So over here is the estimation which says that from 1951 to 1980, 26,200 square kilometer of forest was converted into the agricultural land. Now next one is due to tribals. See, when we talk about the India, especially in India, in north, south, and in the north and central part of India, there are many tribals who lives over there, and those tribals are migrating from one place to another, and they especially live in forest areas only. So as when they are living in the forest area, they are overusing the forest resources which are there, and else they also have a shifting cultivation. And due to this shifting cultivation, what they are doing, they are converting forest areas into agricultural land, and once they are done with that land, they will shift from that land, but again the forest will not be there because they cut down the forest for that agricultural activity. So because of the tribals, you can see that now northern and central part of India get deforested due to shifting cultivation of tribals in those areas. Next one, over here we have one more estimation which says that since 1951, over 5,000 square kilometer forest was clear for river valley projects. There are many commercial projects like making dams or making river valleys, because of which we need to cut down the forest, or there is a deforestation. The big example for which is Buxa Tiger River Valley in West Bengal. To make this river valley, a very big amount of forest has been cut down in West Bengal. Next one is grazing and fuel wood collection. Now grazing is also one of the important activity of human being. Grazing means what we are doing, we are grazing the land to make houses over there, or you can say to do commercial activities over there, and we are also cutting down the plants or trees to use them for the fuel, because wood is a good conductor of fuel. We can make use of wood when we want to have a fuel. So because of the fuel wood collection of grazing, also we are having a deforestation or depletion of forest resources. Industrialization, expansion of industrialization is also one of the cause of deforestation or depletion of plants and animals which we have in forest, because expansion of industrialization requires more factory places, they require more raw materials, and that raw materials and land which they need, they get it from the forest lands or forestry. There are also many different reasons because of which wild animals and wild plants, flora and fauna are getting depleted from the forest areas. That is hunting, over-exploitation of resources, pollution is also there which affects the animals and plants, habitat destruction, that means human beings many times they are having habit to destruct the forest, like for their entertainment or for their enjoyment. Poaching, illegal hunting is also there, illegal cutting down of trees are also there, because there is a smuggling of illegal smuggling of trees and plants, illegal smuggling of animals, because of which they are getting extincted. And overpopulation is also one of the reasons, because due to increasing number of people or increasing number of population, they require residential area to live, and because of which what they are doing, they are cutting down the forest and they are making their houses over there. So all these are the reasons or negative causes because of which our wild resource or our flora and fauna is getting depleted, and we need to save them. So in our next video we will see how we can conserve the forest or how we can conserve these flora and fauna which are getting depleted. I hope you have understood this particular topic. Till then, thank you.